Hi everyone, this is Mike Mobilia from the Startup Nerds, and today I'm joined by Stuart Helmore, the CEO of AWE Technologies. We're going to do a deep dive into how AWE is transforming the way we think about organic waste, and how that waste can actually be converted into renewable energy. Welcome, Stu. How are you doing today?
Very good, thanks, Mike. Great to be with you today.
Okay, Stuart, to get right into it, could you start by giving us a quick overview of what AWE does?
Our core business is taking waste and turning it into energy in a fairly unique way. I think when people think waste to energy, they generally think combustion. We're actually converting waste by an anaerobic process into methane gas, and methane gas has the same calorific potential as natural gas. So it's a green alternative to natural gas.
Just continuing on that note, what would you say is the biggest challenge you're trying to solve for today's food and agricultural businesses?
Yeah, so today we see, particularly in Australia, organic waste is becoming a massive problem for landfills. These landfills are filling up and then they're under anaerobic digestion, leaking methane into the atmosphere. Now, what a lot of people may not be aware that methane is around 80 times more damaging than CO2 emissions. So at AWE, we're addressing this solution. We're taking the waste out of the landfill or diverting the waste from landfill and putting it into an anaerobic digestion process and then converting that into methane gas, which would then in turn will power industry. Just on the industry though, in Australia, gas and energy is becoming more and more expensive, and we don't have a very good solution for industry that need heat. Particularly, I'm talking about food and food processing industries. They are particularly at risk. So our technology is aiming to address that completely.
There's a clear push towards renewable energy and achieving net zero impact from a climate perspective. What do you see as some of the key challenges or pain points businesses are facing along the way?
Yeah, I think the key pain point now is really getting investment underway to meet our targets and timelines. That is the real challenge. So if we talk about some of the more developed markets, such as Europe, their aim by 2030 is to have 35 billion cubic meters of biomethane in production as part of their energy mix, which would equate for around 30% of their energy requirements or about 70% of their gas requirements. So that really is what I would call a very well and developing market. But again, their targets are quite hard to reach in terms of in level of investment and in some respects availability and the change from coal-based energy or gas fossil fuel energy to green-based energy, such as using organic waste or hydro or solar or wind.
With AWE's work centred around the use of digesters, could you help us understand what sets your technology apart from, say, the more traditional digesters we often see coming out of Europe?
Yeah, so from a technology point of view, there's various components that go into the establishment of the waste stream, then moving all the way through to the end product, which is methane gas. It's CO2, and then there's organic fertiliser. At the beginning, it's always about the pre-treatment. We do have special technology that will help with the pre-treatment, preparing the waste for the digestion process. That will allow the digestion process to happen in a very quick and efficient manner, which is very different to what we see now in the US and Europe. And then the digestion process, the core of the technology is coming out of Europe and the US. It is state of the art and it is a well-developed and well-understood technology. The final step of that process is separating those two. So you're diverting methane into energy, such as use in boilers, and then the CO2 we're using into packaging. Then the other product out of that is the fertiliser, which is composted and used in agriculture and industry.
To expand on that a bit, since AWE focuses on rural communities, could you give us a sense of what that really means on the ground for them? Especially in areas where, say, energy might not necessarily be as reliable, or they're managing large amounts of organic waste, which obviously becomes a pretty critical and pressing issue.
Yeah, so particularly in Southeast Asia or in Australia, it's really the same issue. There's a lot of industry in rural communities, particularly around food. Where fruit crops are grown, there is generally fruit processing. Where wine is grown, there's generally fruit processing going on there. Local city councils are having enormous challenges having to invest in getting energy into a remote area and managing the waste outputs. And this is where AWE Technologies hits its almost Goldilocks zone. It's got a perfect amount of waste, and there are real challenges in the community in bringing energy into that community and then also managing that waste. So instead of moving it hundreds of kilometres, we're moving it 5, 6, maybe 10 kilometres. And that gives a lot of security to the local community. And they are also able to produce their own energy from their waste feedstock, making them more self-reliant and also potentially lowering the cost of their energy and certainly lowering their waste management issues.
Okay, interesting. Coming back to AWE's business model, could you give us a bit of a sense of the kind of traction that you and the team have achieved so far? And what can we look forward to over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so when we talk to rural communities, we tend to talk to some of the large businesses that are producing waste. They have to manage enormous amounts of waste to get to the finished product, and they have to pay for that disposal. The second component of that is just simply the cost of energy in rural communities. You've got to truck fuel, pipe fuel in over many, many hundreds of kilometres, and it's just expensive. So AWE is attempting to address that. We're able to give them heat energy in the form of methane gas via their boilers and to do their cleaning or do their prep, and also CO2 to help with their food packaging, and also fertiliser for the regional community to support their farms and growth. And this has not really been done in Australia before until now, until the government legislation is really starting to change and look at how they divert waste away from landfills and enforce commercial operations to manage their waste themselves, which becomes an added cost. So we're turning it into something of a revenue stream for them. It's also de-risking the logistics side of it and giving them a supply locally at a lower price. We're getting in behind the meter to support these clients. They're obviously going to be getting a cheaper price because the waste is either coming from them and they're getting the gas, whether it's methane or CO2, back at a time and place that is close by. We're supporting regional community and regional jobs. It's allowing those businesses in the local community to grow and therefore attract staff and workers to come in and support the local economy. So it's really exciting actually, because we are the first on the ground, particularly in Australia. There is real support from the community, real support from local businesses and local council. So having these conversations, talking to people about waste, it's not a sales job at all. It's rather a natural process, talking about what are your pain points around waste management and energy requirement. We typically look at sizes around 50, 60,000 tonne a year, certainly right up to 150 to 250,000 tonne per year. It really is dependent upon the location and the area. We can very easily see the waste streams coming into that at those levels.
It's obviously an exciting time globally with the focus shifting towards net zero and renewable energy, and obviously ensuring energy consistency. AWE, of course, will need the right support to scale this model further. What kind of investors or partners do you believe align best with AWE's vision and growth goals?
Simplistically, we're looking for people with like-minded points of view as us. Our business is essentially looks like a utility, but with the byproducts or the products that come off the revenue streams, it tends to look more like an investment with very solid returns over the first 2 to 5 years, and then obviously beyond. These plants last for 30 years, and they're modular. Once you have the footprint, expanding these plants is very simple. So the industry in itself, from a global point of view, it's not so new. So the risk appetite is significantly reduced based on the technology and how it's being used and employed. The opportunity exists because it hasn't been well developed in Australia, and probably not in such a unique way in which AWE employs this technology.
Thank you, Stu, for that insightful explanation, and most importantly, thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and obviously we've covered a lot in terms of digester technology. There's a lot more obviously to also learn, and we're certainly looking forward to hearing more about the work that you and the team are doing in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Good talking with you.